The first piece in the book is Syrinx, written by Claude Debussy in the early 20th century, and it was written for solo flute and was incidental music for a play. My interpretation of it has been to take the flute part and introduce specifically guitar elements to really turn it into a piece for electric guitar rather than just playing the notes as they appear on the flute. So I've drawn a variety of inspiration from very expressive melodic guitarists like Jeff Beck and David Gilmour, using some bending and whammy bar ideas, as well as smooth advanced legato inspired by players like Alan Holdsworth to get those wonderful smooth legato lines that the flute can play using one breath to articulate many notes. There's also elements of gamelan and harp inspired lines, which were also part of Debussy's initial inspiration as well. So we're kind of connecting and interpreting the original piece while hopefully transforming it into something that sounds credible as an electric guitar piece. One of the really obvious things that a guitar can do that a flute can't is play more than one note simultaneously. And something that I absolutely love about electric guitar is lettering scales inspired by country guitarists as well as ethnic instruments like the kora and kalimba, where we can play very close intervals in a scale but allow them to lettering together using interesting and well thought out fingerings. There's several places in the piece where this occurs, but we'll start with some warm-up exercises to hopefully demonstrate what I mean more clearly. Example 1A is all about letting the open strings ring to take some of the burden off the fretting hand and avoid some painful wide stretches. Typically, we're going to be fretting high on lower strings while keeping higher open strings ringing. Sometimes that's not possible, depending on the key or the range that you need to be using. And in example 1B, we're going to go way up on the neck and use some wide stretches to play 3 simultaneous notes out of the pentatonic scale. To help these, I'm going to keep my thumb really low on the back of the neck, and you might also find that pointing the neck a little bit more vertically is going to help with making those reaches. Here's a few moments from my arrangement of Syrinx where I've allowed the notes to bleed on into each other in the style that we've been practicing. The first bit is bars 5 into 6. The second is bar 21. And then also in bar 31. Okay, moving on to using the whammy bar now. In example 1C, I'm illustrating a few different ways that we can add articulation to a melody using a traditional Fender style whammy bar. We've got dips that we can add to a single note to give it more pulses. And then scooping by depressing the bar as we're picking it. And then dropping off on the end of a note in a dive. All of these things can sound quite unguitaristic, especially if we're playing them outside of a traditional metal rock kind of context, and hopefully aim to capture some of that swooping fluctuations in pitch that woodwind instruments can do so well. For our second whammy bar example, exercise 1D, I'm switching to a guitar equipped with a Floyd Rose bridge so I can adjust the pitch going up as well as down. We don't need this one for our performance of Syrinx, but it is a fantastic, interesting sounding way of fluctuating the pitch of melodies that you might also like to try. In this example, I'm going to flip the bar 180 degrees and press down on it so that it's raising the pitch as I hit each note. Because of the position of my picking hand, I'm using a fret wrap and just hammering down individually with each note. You can start with the second finger, so that I'm using my first finger as a mute to also help try and keep the strings quiet if you have to do this in performance without the aid of one of these little things.